Hey, fifth grade, for day 2 um, of our work in the slide deck for the nothing, we're going to be working in slides 5 through 8, and then we're going to go ahead and use the attached Google Doc to write our sequel also. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the slide deck. We're going to scroll all the way down to slide 5. So yesterday you listed some words that you thought described the mood of Kristen Lewis's flash fiction piece, The Nothing. Now we're going to take some of those words and we're going to use a quote from the story and react to it. So what we're kind of trying to do is identify how that mood was created, because word choice and imagery and all of those things on the slide ahead contribute to the mood. So it says in the chart on the next slide, list the places in the story that gave you feelings you identified in the box above. So we did this yesterday. I put spooky, creepy, scary, eerie, suspenseful, and chilling. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. So they gave us an example. It says, it was one of those days when the sky is dark and bright at the same time, when the trucks careening down the highway behind my house don't seem to make a sound, when it's 85 degrees but people are wearing sweaters. The first line of the story describes the setting in a way that lets me know something is very off about this place. It is going to be a strange day, and the narrator knows it too. And then I also put, after reading the story, I was walking in the forest, a chewed up tangle of a place. This makes me think that not many people come here and that it isn't taken care of. Again, the author is giving us clues in that particular quote about the setting, which contributes to the mood. It seems kind of spooky, and if you'll remember, that was one of my words. Another quote that I found from the story that helped me identify some of those words or moods was this one right here. Stepping back, I noticed it was as though the tree had a face, and that face was caught in a scream. This makes me think that the tree is alive and that something bad is going to happen, because normally when I scream, it's not for a good reason. I mean, I have shouted in joy before, but I don't think I've ever screamed. And this doesn't seem like it's a good thing. It seems like it's caught in limbo. So it would be like a scary face and like a scream is trying to escape from its mouth. So I would like for you guys to take it from there. I've given you a few examples, but when you get to these slides, this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for. I want you to go back into the story, find a quote that made you feel like it was spooky or eerie or whatever those mood words were. We're going to identify why we felt that or how the author achieved that. And then you're going to move on to planning the sequel. So Kristen Lewis left us with kind of a cliffhanger ending. And so now we have the pleasure of planning a sequel, and then we will write it. So it takes you through, I'm just going to take you through the slides that I have for you. The setting, here, where and when does the sequel take place, and what are the physical surroundings like? So it could be that you're going to start your sequel right in the moment that the nothing ended, which was her reading the piece of tree bark. Or it could be a couple days later, or you could set your sequel years later. Maybe the main character is grown. The sky's the limit here, guys. Kind of let your creativity just take over and go with that vision. Here's what I want to make sure happens, though. Sometimes when we get those creative juices flowing, we just get so crazy, we forget about some necessary things that we need to have in the back of our mind. So What are the physical surroundings like? As you're thinking about the setting, the time, and the place, think about the descriptions that you're going to have to give your readers in order for them to be there, because we like to be scared and we like scary stories. And if we can't put ourselves in that scary story, we're not going to be scared. And that's the whole point, isn't it? We enjoy that scare that we get, or that animosity that is created by reading through a scary story. Also think about the characters. Who appears in your sequel? Will you introduce any new characters? Because there was just the mom and the character, and then of course the tree in the story that we read. Is this person going to have friends? If you set it later on in their life, are they going to have children? Are they going to be married? So think about that. Decide who you want to be in your sequel, and if you're introducing new characters. Because if you're introducing characters, you kind of have to make sure you give a good description so we know who this person is and why they're there. The conflict. How does the problem get more complex? What will readers learn about the nothingness? And will the main character find a way to escape or defeat it? So you will plan that, and you will type that in this box. Make an outline of the events that will happen in your sequel. Now, you guys don't really absolutely have to get a separate doc or anything. You can just create a list here. So I would just be like, event 1, this is going to happen. Now, you're not actually writing the story, so you're zoomed out. You're looking big picture. So my character is going to read the bark and then turn around. And so I would write that. If that's where I want my story to go. And then I would go ahead and describe what happens next. So break it down. Remember, this was flash fiction, so it's very short. Also, I'll let you in on a little secret. We're going to share these in class on Friday, and the winning stories. So we're going to vote on the scariest story, and those people are going to get the honor of sharing their scary story with the 2 other classes. If you're not here on the day that we share these, don't worry. We will let you share also, and I will be providing a way for you to do that with Flipgrid, I believe. So stay tuned. That'll be hitting your classroom feed on Friday. So a little place for you to go in and record yourself sharing your story with your classmates, so that you get that opportunity also. And if we select your story, then of course I would make sure that gets shown to the other 2 classes also. Or if you want to do that in person, then I would give you that option also. So stay tuned. There could be a change of plans pending technical difficulties, but that's the plan right now, guys. So make sure that this plot gets some attention and that it's well thought out, because there is a prize involved. Getting to share it with others. That's one way we publish as writers. And then let's move on to our next slide. It says, after you've written your story, look for places where you can create a creepy, suspenseful mood, as author Kristen Lewis does in The Nothing. Here's some questions you can ask yourself. So this is kind of an exercise in revision. So I'm not asking you guys to take this through the entire writing process, but you're going to go and write your first draft, and you're going to find that here in your work. And it's just called The Sequel to The Nothing. So you're going to write your story, okay? But then after you're done writing your story, you're going to come back to that very last slide in your slide deck, and you're going to revise for these things. You're going to ask yourself, could I include sensory details about sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch? Could I include figurative language such as simile, metaphor, or onomatopoeia? Remember, onomatopoeias are sound words, so like creak and shriek. Those words are sound words, which would be very appropriate for this particular story. Perhaps a room isn't just dark, but as dark as the back of a wolf's throat. Um, are there places where you could use more vivid adjectives and verbs? Perhaps a shadow doesn't just move, it lurks or prowls. Did I describe the setting in a way that creates a spooky or suspenseful mood? And does what the characters say and how they say it contribute to the spooky, suspenseful mood? Does what's happening and the order in which it happens help create a spooky, suspenseful mood? So keep all of these things in mind as you write your story. So today you're reacting using your quotes, and that should just take a few minutes. Then you're going to plan your sequel using slides 6 and 7. Then you're going to go back into your work and you're going to actually type your sequel here. And then you will go back to this last slide and make any changes, keeping these things in mind. Then you'll turn that in. And like I said, I'm hoping to provide you with some opportunities to share your story with us, even though you're at home. So keep an eye out for that. It will probably be a Flipgrid activity where you would go in and record yourself reading your story, and then it would show up and we would be able to see it. Even though you're there and we're here, we would still be able to do that. So stay tuned. Hopefully this makes sense. We will be sharing our stories tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions. I love and miss you guys.